The ground. I hit the ground hard. Tyrell comes rushing over to me. He jumps on the phone. When he gets over to me, he looks down at me. He says, James, don't worry about a thing. I've got great news. I've got your wife, Sunny. She wants to talk to you. Well, if you know my wife, I didn't want to take this phone call, so I made a marital mistake. I looked at Tyrell. I said, hey, tell her no thank you, right? I said, tell her no. Those are the words that came out of my mouth. Tell her no thank you. Obviously, I'm not with it. No thank you. Tell her that. Do that, Tyrell. Go. He comes back. He's terrified. I don't know what she said to him. He comes back to me, looks down at me, goes, James, I am so sorry. I don't have medical. It's not your wife. It's your daughter. She wants to talk to you. Now, my daughter's name is Lucy. And at this time in our journey, she was 9 years old. So I want you to imagine the sweetest 9-year-old voice you can. I take the phone. Lucy says, Dad, you told me you were going to do 30 Ironmans this year. Dad, you said you were going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. I was like, dang it. I said that. I shouldn't have. And then she goes, Dad, is there any way? Can you get up? Can you walk? And can you finish? I said, sweetheart, I can't. And she says, okay, Dad, can you crawl? Dad, can you crawl and finish? Now, it's 9 miles. And through the tears, I said, sweetheart, I just can't. You don't understand. And she clearly didn't understand because she followed it up with, Dad, can you cartwheel? Dad, can you cartwheel the next 9 miles and finish today? I couldn't believe it. In her beautiful, innocent 9-year-old mind, she could not see the option to quit. It wasn't on the table. When in our adult lives did we become okay with quitting? Was that an option? I believe it's a learned behavior. I told her I loved her. I said, thank you. I said, Tyrell, help me up. We put my shoes back on and we started to walk, navigate those last 9 miles. I got to where I was 100 feet from the finish line. I could see it. It was right there. I cartwheeled over the finish line. And from that moment on, I was so filled with belief and conviction. I believed in what I was doing and in the journey. We went on to win 2 events, placed second 5 times, smashing that Guinness World Record, doing 30 Ironmans in 1 year when everybody said it was impossible. Now I want to introduce you guys to a friend of mine. His name's Dayton. This is a cool kid. He was born with a condition that's called cerebral palsy. He's just trapped inside of his body. But he has all the same desires and passions of you guys. I found out through social media, this kid loves to do triathlon. He loves to feel the wind in his face. It makes him feel alive. So I called his mom and I said, hey, is there any way, does Dayton want to be part of the world record? Does he want to do an Ironman? Can we do one together? And she said yes, and I got to meet Dayton for the very first time. Lake Havasu, Arizona, raced 27 of 30 in that year. I'd never pulled anybody in a race before, so I was scared. And you can imagine my emotion when his dad walks up and he throws down this, what looked to be a $20 boat from Walmart. It had duct tape on the side, this makeshift rope. And right before the gun goes off, his dad leans in, all proud. He says, James, I don't want you to worry, but Dayton might have a seizure. If he has a seizure, don't worry about it. Just keep swimming. And then the gun goes off. And so I'm like, holy, what are we doing? Right? And so I grabbed the rope. I tied it around my waist. I jump in the water. I start swimming. I'm panicking. I was scared before. I'm terrified now. Every chance I get, I take a look back. What's Dayton doing? Is he having that seizure? Every time I look back, I could see his face. His eyes were closed. And then it hit me. Dude's just taking a nap. He's resting up for the bike ride. That's what he's doing. And I'm like, I just need to focus on what's right in front of me. Not something in the future that I can't control. Hasn't happened yet. So I just swam as hard as I could. We came out in the middle of the pack. His dad greeted us with this custom cart special for Dayton. I was so excited to ride. Till I found out the cart was 185 pounds. But physics says you get weight up to speed, you can fly. So I bike as hard as I can. I start moving. We're going 27 miles an hour. This time when I look back, what do you think I saw? Dayton's got the biggest smile on his face. He feels alive. He's got that wind. Now at mile 30, unfortunately, Dayton's cart breaks. His custom cart breaks. I go from 27 miles an hour to 4, giving it everything I've got. Realizing we weren't going to make the cutoff, my wife comes out on her bike and starts to ride with us. Sings to us, tells us jokes, trying to take our minds off of what was happening. All of a sudden, out of the blue, we don't know why, but she reaches out her hand and she puts it on the back of Dayton's cart. As soon as she took the cart, as soon as she touched the cart, it took away the shake. My speed doubled, my cadence picked up. All of a sudden, Dayton sits up in his cart, and I could see he had hope. I looked back at my bride, and I said, hey, how long can you leave your hand there? She said, if it's helping, I can do it as long as you need. I said, good, I think I need you for the next 6 hours. She said, I'm here with you, whatever you need. And together, we pushed and pulled Dayton up and down the hills of Lake Havasu, Arizona. We only had 10K to go, 6 miles. And the sun sets. When that happens, the race director comes out and says it's no longer safe to continue. We need to pull you off the course. You can imagine we were devastated once again. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw a police officer rushing up. When that police officer got to us, he said, boys, don't worry about a thing. I'll turn on all my lights. Follow me. I'll get you in. I'll give you your chance to run your marathon. Now I want to share with you guys a video of the day that Dayton and I got to spend together.
There are many limits in life, but the only limit to achieving greatness is telling yourself no. On the surface, I was pulling Dayton, but in reality, he was pulling me. He was the mind, I was the body, and together we were a machine. It became the hardest ride of my life. Every pedal stroke was like climbing a mountain. I kept doing the math over and over in my head. We weren't going to make it. But I kept telling myself, Dayton can't ride a bike. And I get to ride my bike today. I get to ride my bike. I looked back and I realized he wasn't going to cross the finish line unless I took that next step. So we simply push the limits hard. I kept telling myself, Dayton can't run, and I get to run tonight. Greatness isn't measured in hours, minutes, or seconds. It's measured in your ability to kick your limits to the curb and achieve what is possible.
Thank you. Dayton can't ride a bike, and I get to ride my bike today. Dayton can't run, and I get to run tonight. Kept saying that over and over in my head. Don't take for granted the things we get to do, the opportunity that's in front of all of us. We get to wake up every single day filled with gratitude and choose how we navigate today. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Dayton and I, we needed each other. I realized that nothing great is ever accomplished on our own. We needed Sunny to come out and reach out her hand. That police officer to light our way. That was Dayton's mother, who ran every step of that marathon with us. And it was my 2 oldest girls that ran us into the finish line. Took every single one of us to put that medal around Dayton's neck. That's a day and a moment I'll never forget.